Hello everybody, welcome back to MMM Murder Misfortunate, Murder Most Misfortunate. We are going to continue on with this wonderfully eclectic game that is very similar to Clue. We have gone to the main hall, the dining hall, the king's bedroom, and we went to the breaker room, but we didn't have any lights, so we're going to have to go back there too. Let's see, where shall we go? Maybe the manor grounds, I guess? We didn't really get a good look at the manor grounds. Maybe there's something interesting out here.
When I
Who
first
knows?
arrived at the manor house, I thought it might rain that evening. And in light of recent events, I half expected a flash of lightning to provide an atmospheric backdrop to the stage of our little drama, complete with the clap of thunder as the applause. But the night air hung cold and still, and the only sound was the rustling of weeds and brush that clawed against the foundations of the building.
She's so poetic for, a psycho.
Wait, rustling? But there isn't any wind. Who's that out there?
And it is raining.
It's just me, Misfortune, ma'am.
Clops. Cyclops.
I say, what in the world are you doing skulking about in the brush like that? Don't tell me they get you to do the groundskeeping around here, too.
Sometimes I do a bit of gardening, yes.
In the rain?
When things get out of hand.
That sounded
Gardening
double-sided.
at a time like this?
Well, no, ma'am. Right now, I'm keeping an eye out for strangers.
An eye.
Just to keep everyone safe.
What a relief. I do feel ever so much safer when a hulking man with an eye patch is lurking in the shadows right outside the house.
Yeah, so much safer. Why you gotta pick on him? Okay, let's examine the grounds first. Wolves.
There were stories from the time of the Revolutionary War that when soldiers first stormed the grounds of the Lee Manor, ferocious spectral beasts appeared out of nowhere to tear apart the terrified trespassers. Of course, you can't believe everything you hear. But I found myself keeping a watchful eye on the wolf statues in the courtyard, just to be sure.
Just to be sure. Okay. Wolves. Nothing else. There's one light in that window. Trying to see if there's any clickable items. Nothing to say about the shut gate, I see. The brush.
Klops claimed he had already checked the ground around the house for footprints, but I thought it couldn't hurt to double-check. Apparently I thought wrong, though, for as I stepped off the path into the brush, the weeds and thorns tore at my skirts and scratched my ankles. You know, I think I'll just take the one-eyed brute's word for it after all.
So if somebody was out here, chances are they would... Oh.
A rundown shed sat in the corner of the yard. Gingerly, I tried the door, but the wood had swollen, and it seemed stuck in its frame. It was just as well, I suppose. Ugh. Why would I want to go inside a moldy old shed anyway? Ugh.
I don't know, because there could be someone hiding in there? Maybe the light behind the shed is something we should be concerned about? Jeez. Brush, brush. All the wolves. Okay. Alright, let's talk to Klops, Mr. Cyclops. Let's talk to Klops. Finding the body. What do you have to say about this?
You were in quite the tizzy when you came running to find me earlier. Was it you who found the body?
Yes, ma'am. I found it in the hall, just like you saw.
Oh, let's not do the ramming thing,
And
please.
what were you doing before that?
Well, I let the boss, the prince,
The
into
boss.
the hall to take his phone call. Then I went to the pantry to get more candles for the dining room. I didn't know how long Horatio was going to be with the lights.
So, the prince was alone then when you left him in the hall?
Yes, ma'am. Without a doubt.
Why then, it appears you may have been the last one to see the poor prince alive.
Wouldn't that actually have been the killer, ma'am?
Oh, he's a sharp tool.
I suppose so.
Oh,
But then
not a sharp tool in the
you
shed,
did
but you know what
just
I
say
mean.
You were quite certain he was alone.
What do you mean by that? I'm just doing my job here.
Excuse
Oh,
me.
yes, of course. I'm sure you're quite excellent at, well, whatever it is that valets do.
Okay, still questioning about this time period, because there is technology in this time period, like cell phones, but valets and emperors and stuff like that. So where are we at?
My dear Klops, please tell me you didn't really think there might still be a stranger lurking around here in the underbrush.
Well, ma'am, no one was watching the door when the prince was in the hall. Whoever did it could have run right out the front door.
He's got a
Why,
point.
indeed they could have. Not much gets by you, it
I swear,
seems.
she has got so
And
much
yet,
sarcasm.
Here you are, searching through the weeds at the base of the house. With the coast clear, would our furtive stranger not just have kept going?
I'm sure he probably did. I'm just looking for footprints.
Yeah, just looking for footprints.
Footprints now? Ah, yes, of course. And have you found any?
No,
Nope.
ma'am.
Not that he could
Oh, I
see, anyway.
It would have been so much nicer to believe the killer was no longer in the house. Especially with our resident bodyguard busy traipsing through the muck outside.
Sorry, ma'am, but I'm just a valet.
Yeah, you look like just a valet.
Of course you are.
Are they play pretending at being emperors and stuff like this? And about the phone call is locked. Was that there as one of the choices before and it locked because of something we were talking about? I don't remember.
Can you tell me anything about our late host? Perhaps about this grand announcement of his?
About the boss? I mean, the prince.
About the boss?
Sorry, ma'am, but he wasn't the sort to confide in a mere valet like myself.
Huh.
Oh, come now. I know how it is with servants. You're bound to have
Servants?
seen or heard a thing or two about the house, whether your master knows it or not.
Look, I take my duties seriously. I make it a point not to see things that I'm not supposed to see.
Is that how you lost your eye?
Yes, I suppose
Coming up
not
with some
seeing
theories on
things
how he
would be
lost his
rather a
eye.
specialty of yours. Tell me, have you worked for the prince for a long time?
Yes, ma'am. Many years now.
And you're still just a valet? Tisk tisk. Promotions must be hard to come by in that household.
Okay. And I think this one is locked out. He's not really going to talk to us about it, so we're going to go back. I think the locked out ones, I have to have a certain amount of information before they're going to talk to me about them. The king bedroom we did go to. The queen bedroom, maybe? Let's see. Kind of interested in these photos over here.
In the queen bedroom, I found my old social acquaintance, the Comtessa. To say that I trusted her was going much too far. But I had certainly known her longer than anyone else there that evening.
Okay.
Besides that, I knew her to have an ear for gossip and an eye for detail. If there was anyone who could tell me a little more about the cast of our little drama, it was her.
Oh boy.
There you are,
Oh, my
Misfortune,
goodness.
darling. I must say this whole affair is just dreadful, isn't it?
Then what are you doing in the murder room?
Tragic. Truly tragic.
She seems bored.
Prince Titanico was, An eccentric man, but he knew how to put on a show. Sadly, this is rather more than I expected, I'm afraid.
Are we really sure he didn't plan the whole thing after all? You know, have the last laugh, go out with a bang, that sort of thing?
I don't know.
Oh no, my dear, I don't think so. The prince, by all accounts, was far too fond of himself for that.
Still don't know what's going on with her arm right here.
Pity. It would have made for such a delicious story. Not to mention no longer having to worry about a possible killer being on the loose.
Yeah, there's that.
Quite so.
What's with the little hat? I want to examine the room. If at all possible.
I'd
Pillow?
hopefully noted the garish red color of the bed the first time we visited the room. But this time, something looked off. Near the top of the bed, the color looked darker than before. I reached beneath the pillows, and sure enough...
What do we find? Anything juicy?
It was
Another
a
knife.
with a distinctively wavy blade. A blade that was covered with blood. I'd wager a good portion of my last husband's life insurance that the blood belonged to Prince Titanico himself. So, there hadn't been just one knife, but two. But which one had stabbed the prince? Or had they both? My discovery seemed to have led to more questions than answers, but one way or another, I was certain that this was a critical piece in the puzzle of the prince's death.
And yet again, we just touched it, you know, forensics and all
How
that.
you got there?
Well, it seems to be a knife. I found it here under the pillow.
A knife? Goodness, do you think it could be the murder weapon?
I'm
No,
not
the murder
sure,
weapon was gravity.
but it very well could be. Let's just leave it here, shall we? I'm sure the police will want to know about it later, but for now, it will be our little secret.
Very well, dear. I do so love a good secret.
Love a good secret. Okay. Apparently we have nothing to say about that chandelier. Side
On a small
table.
near the center of the room sat a little book, the kind one could write in. Could it be a diary? And by reading it, might I steal a forbidden glimpse into the inner life of some member of the once mighty elite family?
Why don't we just pick it up and look at
To my
it?
great disappointment, I found the pages empty. Ah, well, I suppose that hoping to discover the defiant last words of the infamous Lamika Lee written in blood really would have been a bit much to ask for.
Okay. I guess so. Would that have been so much to ask for? Do we have any interesting books? Maybe about people with balloons,
I
perhaps.
couldn't make out the lady in the ruined portrait, but I assumed it must be some grand old dame of the Lee household. Why had she been left behind, I wondered? Had the rest of the family simply not liked her? Mind you, if I ever had to sell one of my estates, I'd rather fancy leaving behind as many self-portraits as I could spare. You know, just so that the new owners would feel like I was keeping an eye on them.
Kinda creepy. Yeah, that's kinda creepy. Still creepy. Ooh. Is this one... There was a chest in the other room. Why isn't this one of interest? Oh, but this table is of interest?
A set of
Vases.
old vases sat on the dresser. Could there possibly still be anything in them?
I don't know. Let's
The neck
check.
of the nearest vase was too narrow for me to see anything inside at a glance.
Pick it up and shake
I
it.
suppose I could have stuck my hand in to feel around, but there could easily be a mouse or a spider lurking in there. No, that would be a much more suitable job for Miss Charisse and those small, dainty hands of hers, I think.
Okay. No interest in that picture, I see. Nothing to say about any of those. Okay, let's talk to Contessa. Okay. Alright, and this one's already locked. Leah's family. I want to know how you unlock them. Do you have to find things?
Darling, I have a little confession to make. Although I've met our good host, well, ex-host, a number of times, I'm afraid I never really knew him, if you understand what I mean.
She never slept with him. She didn't marry him and kill him.
I hardly expect you're the only one in that situation, my dear. The prince had this maddening habit of talking all the time and yet somehow still saying very little.
That says a lot about a lot of people.
So was he really a prince then? Do you know?
These days, title really does not mean what it once did. After all, how many do you have now?
Wow.
Oh, let me see. At least 3. All by marriage, of course. Sometimes it can be hard to keep track.
Okay.
Just so. No doubt our late prince could make some claim or another. But these days, who can't?
I can't. Not me.
Just about anyone can claim a tenuous connection to some great old family that was thought lost in the revolution. And it's so hard to prove them wrong. And as long as there isn't money involved, no one much cares to try.
So he called himself a prince, and that's about all anyone knew. He wasn't married or anything, was he?
And then talking to somebody else?
Good heavens, I hope not. You did see him doting all over our sweet little Charisse, didn't you?
Come now, Comtessa. You and I both know that's proof of nothing.
Sad but true.
So cruel, but so true. Still, if he was ever married, I never heard of it.
Oh boy.
And you do
You're like
have
chickens
such a
in the
knack
hen
for
house
hearing
here.
Interesting things, darling. If there was anything to hear, I dare say you would have heard it.
Oh, modesty forbids.
I don't want to brag about
would
being
seem our
nosy,
late prince
but
was quite
I'm like the
unique.
best nosiest.
At least I can feel glad that I wasn't the only one in the dark.
Okay, about Charisse. What do you know about
I
her?
don't know about you, but I can't shake the impression that Miss Charisse was, for lack of a better term, the guest of honor this evening. What do you know about her?
Oh, the poor girl. She's an only child, and her parents passed away just recently.
Yes, I feel for her. An enormous inheritance, and all of a sudden no one around to tell her how to spend it. The family, they were industrialists, were they not?
Her personality is kind of grating on me, maybe? Just a little bit?
Though by the end, they were into pretty much everything. Manufacturing, banking, real estate, and more. They were a bit close-lipped about their net worth, but certainly one of the richest private families in the empire.
What empire? Give me a timeline
And
here.
if I recall correctly, they were
New money. There's that term, new money from
money
Titanic.
upstarts. I think I heard them called at court from time to time.
Did you really? I don't doubt it, of course. My word, that place can be just so beastly sometimes.
The court can be beastly? Were you at court? They didn't invite you,
I
did
thought
they?
that was rather tame. You should hear the things they call me.
Slut.
Oh, yes, they can say
Excuse me.
such horrid
Allergies,
about
man.
widows like us. Sometime you and I will have to swap stories of the more creative ones. When the circumstances are more pleasant, of course.
Of course, we wouldn't want to be
Of
uncouth
course.
or anything. Hold on, there was only one locked one. This actually brought up a second conversation. Where were you when it happened?
You know, it was really quite shocking. One minute the prince was playing host and telling ghost stories, and next thing you know, we all come running and he's dead on the floor.
Oh, indeed. That was a surprise of a most unpleasant nature.
Where were you when you heard the news? It was that one-eyed shambler in the ill-fitting coat who found me in the other bedroom. Did he find you first?
No. In fact, I was in here. And it was that young man with a decidedly orangish hue who brought me
Orangish?
news.
It was not orange-ish. It's orange.
Our oh so
He's
lovely
all
one.
orange. He's even drinking orange.
He must have been done fixing the lights then.
Yes, they'd only just come on. I must say, he was in quite a state, with those robes of his flapping about everywhere. I expect I would have laughed if he didn't look so distressed.
Oh, alas, such a wasted opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, he didn't tell me exactly what the matter was at first. I'm not sure he knew himself. He only said that something had happened, and we had to gather everyone together right away.
Huh.
And our two little darlings. You found them on the way back then?
Precisely, just as we were coming back down to the main floor.
Well, it's good we've got that all straightened up. With so much running about the house, it's enough to make one's head spin trying to sort it all out.
Yeah, like The Exorcist.
Oh my word, yes! I used to get quite bad headaches myself, especially back when I was with my second husband. Mind you, those only ever seemed to come on when he was telling golfing stories.
Or when he wanted some, right?
My dear, I know exactly what you mean.
I keep kicking the desk. I'm sorry. It is really, really cold in this room, so I'm trying to stay warm. Okay, I know that these are probably going to be locked, but I'm kind of interested in what she has to say.
So how
Here.
do you know Prince Titanico then? I met him at an art auction myself. How about you?
Oh, I hardly knew him at all, really. He was an acquaintance of my late husband's. They played cards together sometimes at his club, or so I understand.
I see. Is this the first time you've seen him then, since your husband passed away?
Well, he came to the funeral, but other than that, yes. Yes, it is.
I'm recording. Yes. Good night, sweet pea.
Don't you think it's a little odd that he would invite you out to a rather small event like this, when your husband was the one he actually knew?
He said he thought I would appreciate the historical nature of the estate, and he's not wrong on that count. Perhaps he may have also thought I'd be a little lonely, being recently widowed and all.
Yeah,
That
I'm
part's
not sure that's the whole
nice,
story.
of course. A woman in my position gets rather used to it. But it's sweet of the dear boy to try.
Uh-huh.
Yes, indeed. One does get used to it. Husbands come and go. It's the way of the world, really.
Too
Oh my
true.
goodness. Okay, I'm not sure that I actually got the whole story, but maybe it's the fact that I talked to them when I did that puts that lock on there. So let's continue on and make sure we talk about all of them. I want to go back and listen to what everybody else has to say on their locked ones.
Contessa, darling, I just heard a delectable little morsel of gossip and simply must share it with someone.
You? Share
Why,
gossip?
some
Never.
Scrumptious gossip is just what I need right now. Do tell me more, dear.
Do tell me more, dear.
I was talking to the Leah girl. You know, Sharice's little hanger-on. And she hinted that she'd been feuding with her family and was more or less kicked out of the house.
Oh my, how sad for the poor young thing.
To be honest, if she lived with me, I'm quite sure I'd do the same. But do you know anything about who she is?
Yeah,
I
do
dare
you?
say I know a little. Her parents were wealthy moguls in the technology sector. That is, until about a year ago.
Uh-oh, what happened there?
Ugh, of course they were. No wonder I didn't know who she was. I find all that technobabble so terribly dull. So, what happened?
They died tragically. Of course, like everybody else.
Someone leaked the company's most sensitive records. Records that suggested corporate espionage and other unsavory business. Thanks to a rather exorbitantly priced lawyers, the family avoided a prison sentence, but the company was ruined.
I see. Do you think, then, that our very own Miss Leah was...
The one to leak the files? Oh, darling, it's unseemly to speculate about such things.
Yes, they would hate to be
Always
unseemly,
said
wouldn't they?
It must have been an inside job.
Huh.
A self-righteous brat who will send her own family up the river, if that's what it takes to do what she thinks is right. And here I thought I couldn't like her any less than I already did.
Hey, I like her. I'd rather be playing her than you. Okay, so we talked to all of them. I actually want to go back and see if there is anything else that we opened up. Let's see. Because I know that there were some other locked conversations, but now I'm starting to wonder if it's things that were unlocked by talking to other people. Because that one's new.
So, my poor little girl. I was talking to my friend the Comtessa, and she told me she'd heard people at court say the rudest things about your late family.
I suppose they might have done. Sometimes people will say things that are quite unkind. I try not to let it bother me.
Huh.
Still, it must be awfully hard being a new money family when there are so many busybodies who go on and on about tradition and blue blood and that sort of thing.
Like you, right? You're talking about yourself?
Oh, I don't think
That's
so.
what I hear.
Some people will say cruel things about anybody. I've heard them say things even about the Comtessa, too. So it wasn't just us.
Interesting. Tell me more.
About the Comtessa, really? I thought you said you didn't listen to that sort of thing.
I try not to. But Titanico talked about it sometimes. I think he knew the Comtessa's last husband before he passed away.
Juicy details. Give us all the juicy details.
My goodness. Surely he didn't imply that she was in any way responsible. That would be unthinkable.
Unthinkable. No. Really?
He did say there were rumors. But I'm sure that's all they were. Like I said, people say nasty things sometimes.
Yes, my dear. They most certainly do.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, I've already talked to her about all of the things. So... main hall, dining hall. Was there anything locked on his, on Horatio's stuff? I don't think there was. There was the announcement, but he wouldn't tell me anyway, but I still talked to him about it. Oh, there's more stuff. Nice. Okay, so it's evolving.
Klopp's fellow. He was the prince's valet. Have I got that right?
Yeah, the valet.
Yes, that's right. Mr. Tor is the butler, but today's his day out.
Tour. Like Centaur?
So is he, a good valet then?
Really?
I only ask because I just found him skulking about in the brush outside, and I wasn't really sure if that was the sort of things valets usually do.
Was he now? Well, I can't say I know terribly much about the exact duties of my dear friend's household staff, but I know he did some gardening from time to time.
You like digging holes in the dirt?
Indeed.
Like 6 foot
gardening.
holes in the dirt?
I believe he said something along those lines as well.
Seems like a thing a gardener would do, right?
Yes, well, he was quite good at whacking weeds. Or so I heard.
Whacking weeds. Things that, irritate you.
I suppose that sounds about right. If I were a weed, or really, even if I wasn't, I wouldn't want to get whacked by him either. Was he happy with his work? Do you
Even
know?
though when I went out to the grass, there was still a lot of, briars and stuff in
Come to
there,
think of
so...
it, he did seem a bit jealous of Mr. Tor's position from time to time.
No doubt being a butler pays better than a mere valet. Though I'm not sure how either stacks up against a Grand Magus.
Need I remind you, Misfortune, I am not, was not, an employee of the prince's household.
Yeah, he wasn't my boss. He's not the boss of me.
But of course,
Right.
silly of me. So back to Mr. Klops then. Do you know if he had issues with money? Might he badly have needed a raise?
Really couldn't say. Perhaps someone on the staff did, though. I did sometimes hear Mr. Tor complain about small valuables going missing.
So, where's Mr. Tor? Can we talk to him?
So very interesting. You've been a great help, my dear Horatio.
This is getting juicy, right? Can y'all feel
It
it?
is
We're getting all the
my
juicy
pleasure to be of
details. The
service.
juicy deets. Okay, the announcement again. So, we're gonna get a chance to ask him about that again?
Horatio, dear, are you certain you won't tell me about this special announcement that the prince was going to make?
Of course. My lips are sealed.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Ho hum. Then I suppose I'll just have to tell you about it.
Oh, really? Are we gonna try and bluff him?
You... what?
What?
It had to do with this, didn't it?
Oh, the ring.
Alakazam, how did you get that?
He was gonna propose to somebody.
I rather wish I knew that myself. But for now, I think it's best to stay on track while the wizard is still wonderstruck. Tut-tut, my dear. Magicians aren't the only ones who get to keep secrets. The important thing is what the prince planned to do with it. It was his, wasn't it?
Uh-oh.
Yes, I mean, it was. Well, it wasn't
He was going
exactly
to
for
propose.
him, you see, I mean, oh dear.
Yeah, you spilled your
No need to
juice,
worry,
dude.
darling. I already know exactly what it was for.
Yeah. I was gonna say he's gonna propose to
It's
Charisse.
simple, really. He was going to propose to Charisse.
And what makes you say that?
Come now, my dear. It doesn't take a fortune teller to see that he'd been doing everything in his power to sweep her off her feet.
He wouldn't have been trying to
Add that
propose
her
to me.
diamond ring sized for slender little fingers, and the story all but writes itself.
It is true that he was quite, taken with her, yes. I mean, who wouldn't be, really?
Unless Horatio was going to
Yes.
propose to her.
Sweet, demure, pliable, and very, very rich.
But
Just
if
the
Horatio
type
was
for the
wanting to
prince, I'm
propose
sure.
and his boss?
You're not going to tell Miss Charisse about this, are you? Surely it would only make things even harder for her.
How twisted can the
No,
plot
at
get?
least
I've got
not
ideas. I'm not going to share them right now,
Like
but I've got
I
ideas.
said, sometimes I like to have a secret or two up my sleeve myself. But confirming that I was right about the prince's intent certainly does paint this mystery in a whole new light.
I don't know if Horatio was actually the one who was interested in Charisse and his buddy was the one going to hold on to the ring for him. That could actually be something different. Huh. Okay, we've been in the main hall, manor grounds. We didn't actually talk to him about the extra stuff, though, did we? Let's make sure we talk to everybody about the extra stuff, and we may have to run back through them one more time to be sure that we got all of the extra stuffs. We did not talk to you about the phone call.
That's right. In all this commotion, I'd almost forgotten the whole reason the prince left us was to take a phone call. Do you know who was calling?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Well, that's a little odd. They didn't give a name.
I asked, but they said the matter was confidential.
So you spoke to them then. Can you describe anything at all about the caller?
Male, female, deep,
Yes,
voice.
I took the call, and they asked for the prince right away. Which is a bit funny, now that you mention it. I didn't think very many people would have this number.
It's good to note. Yeah, because he
Anyway,
just acquired the
pretty
place.
Sure the caller was a woman. She was all crisp and businesslike, too. I'm afraid I can't tell you more than that.
Huh.
I suppose it would be
The
too
maid
much
did
to
it.
hope that this rotting old place would have call display.
No, ma'am. It's a wonder most of the wiring around here even works at all.
Mm-hmm.
Must be magic, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't think so. Okay. Let's go back. Okay, Manor Grounds, King Bedroom. Let's see if we've opened up any more information on her. Ah, your murder mystery and who called the house.
So, your sweet little friend. She can be quite the tease, it seems. I was just talking to her earlier, and she let it drop that this wasn't her first murder case.
Yeah, so what's the deal?
You must think you're very clever for worming that out of her. You know, I bet you're one of those people who think they're a lot smarter than they really are, aren't you?
Doesn't everybody think that?
My dear Leah, something like that is not exactly the wisest thing to say when you're perched precariously on the edge of a window.
She doesn't look like she's
It's
on the edge of a
ever
window.
so fortunate that I'm in a good mood today.
A good mood. Here, now. How could... No, never mind. I forgot who I was talking to.
Yeah.
In any case, my dear, Miss Therese said the only other one here who was involved in that case was you. No matter how smart I might or might not think I am, surely you can't blame me for wondering whether it might be relevant to our current predicament.
It's a
Well, it's not.
obvious
Not
question.
directly, anyway.
Aha! Not directly. Now
So,
what do you
indirectly, how is it related?
Look,
Come on,
it
all the
was
details.
And I'm sure Sherry said the same thing. It was bad. For everyone, but especially for her. The truth she learned that day, she's never going to forget. And she definitely doesn't need you dredging it all up.
Hmm. Ah, her family's shady past?
There's no need to tell me, darling. She learned the truth about her family, didn't she? That not all that lovely money of theirs was obtained through, how shall we say, completely honest business.
Hmm.
It's plain as day, really. Insufferably idealistic young socialite comes into her fortune. and
She's really
starts
not going to get very
rolling
much
every
information with her
charitable
attitude,
cause
is she?
can find out of guilt. Oh yes, I know her type well enough.
We learned that her family had been mixed up with some really bad people. No, more than just bad. With true evil.
And what does that mean?
And so it turns out her life of wealth and comfort was built on the blood of innocence. So very tragic for her, I'm sure.
Jeez.
She just wants to make up for it all. Make it all right again. Sometimes I worry she thinks she can carry the weight of the whole world. She pushes herself hard enough.
Yes, I did say insufferably idealistic, didn't I?
If by that you mean a better person than you'll ever be, then yeah, that's spot
True.
on. She just needs
Can't say
someone to watch
anything,
her back.
it's true.
That's all.
And let me guess, you do whatever it takes to keep your dear little friend safe, wouldn't you?
Uh-oh.
Whatever it takes.
My. Such ardor, such resolve. Remind me never to get on your bad side, darling.
How far does that go?
Too late.
Yeah, she really doesn't like me. I can't blame her, actually. So, can you tell me who called the
Who
house?
was it then that called the house?
If I tell you, Would it get you to leave me alone?
Possibly, yes, yes.
My dear girl, this predicament affects all of us. If you found out anything that might be in the least helpful, surely it's in all of our interests for you to share it.
Yeah, share. Do
I'll
share.
take that as a yes. Fine. The number is 11223344. It's a business number registered to Oxley Accounting Services.
An accountant? Doesn't exactly sound like a social call. No,
Weird phone number.
Who knows? As far as I can tell, this Prince Titanico had some pretty weird friends.
How far into the past are you digging?
Contacting them then.
Nah, that'd mean talking to more weirdos. I'd rather try and hack into their private email or something and see what's up.
I'll leave you to it, my dear.
I had to come back and check in and see if she's found any interesting emails later. Okay. Okay. That was the king's bedroom. Let's go back to the queen's. Let's see if we dredged up any more information on her. Alright, no, we covered everything. Okay. Let's go back to the main hall and try the phone number. I want to go to the breaker room, but I want to try looking everywhere else first. Uh-huh.
I suppose I could dial a number here, if I knew of one worth calling. Oxley Accounting Offices. That's what that Leah girl had said. Of course, she could have just been making it up to get rid of me. I'd certainly do the same to her.
Does seem like a false phone number, doesn't it? Give it a shot. Let's see what's up. Oh, we have a dial tone.
Oxley Accounting Offices, Oxley speaking. Are you a new or pre-existing client?
To tell you the truth, I'm not really sure.
I see. That doesn't bode well for the organizational state of your paperwork.
Probably true.
Actually, I'm calling on behalf of a friend.
In that case, please be advised then that I will only be able to answer the most basic of queries without certified written permission from your associate, or friend, as you call them.
Sadly, I fear my friend's signature would be difficult to obtain at the moment. But I think basic queries will do well enough for now.
Okay. Did you call the house?
Now, Miss Oxley, was it? You sound like a very organized person. Can you tell me if you called this number earlier this evening?
Yes, I log all of my calls, both incoming and outgoing. And yes, I did call this number at 8:32 p.m. Sharp, of course.
Yes, 8:30. That sounds about right. Wait a minute. Isn't that rather late for an accounting office to still be open?
Quite possibly, yes.
An 8-hour business day is standard in many sectors, but we take our work very seriously here at Oxley Accounting. Besides which, it was requested that I call at precisely that time.
Someone had you call.
Requested? How odd. Requested by whom?
That would be confidential,
In
probably.
the absence of written consent, I am not authorized to provide that information.
Oh, of course you're not. How silly of me. Can you at least tell me if you spoke to anyone when you called?
Yes, the call was answered. I asked to speak with a particular individual and was told to wait.
And you did wait then?
For 4 minutes and 36 seconds, yes.
And after such an oddly specific yet arbitrary amount of time, you hung up?
Certainly not. Someone picked up, I introduced myself again, and then they hung up.
And they just hung up?
How rude. To think anyone could hang up on such an obviously charming personality as yours.
Oh my goodness, laying on thick. Alright, let's get to the nitty-gritty.
Might you happen to know a man called Prince Titanico?
I am familiar with that name, yes. In fact, I was hoping I might speak to him. Is he there?
I'm afraid that really won't be possible.
Very well. In that case, please inform him I will continue to try to contact him at regular intervals.
At regular intervals.
Oh, you can try. Can you tell me, was Prince Titanico a client of your office?
In the absence of written consent,
of course, she's not going to answer that one.
That information.
But if you're trying to contact him, you must have some kind of business relation with him.
In the absence of written consent, I am not authorized to provide that information.
You can be just insufferably obstinate, can't you?
Part of the job.
If by that you mean thoroughly professional, then yes.
All good answers. She's answering very
Same
professionally.
thing, really.
Alright. Oh boy, your client is dead.
Miss
Oh, boy.
Huxley, I'm not entirely sure how to tell you this, but Prince Titanico is dead.
I see. That will definitely have some ramifications for my paperwork.
Yeah, more staples.
Not only that,
What?
but it seems rather likely that he was killed precisely when he came to answer your phone call.
Noted. I suppose that explains why he hung up so abruptly and didn't call back.
So he hung up.
Yes, didn't you find that a little bit odd at the time?
Not really. For certain types of business, it's quite common to encounter some reluctance on behalf of the other party.
But hang on, I thought the prince was your client. Why would he be reluctant to speak with his own accountant?
Accounting is not the only service we provide at our office.
Oh,
We
audits.
also perform audits, credit checks, and financial investigations of various sorts.
Oh. You are being investigated, huh?
Of course. Now it makes sense. The prince was being audited, wasn't he?
Yeah.
In the absence of written consent, I am not authorized to provide that information.
Of course you can't.
It's quite all right, dearie. I can connect the dots myself. You've been ever so helpful. In spite of yourself, really.
She tried really hard. She did. I give her
You are
that.
welcome to log your opinion of our interaction on our office's website feedback form. Now, exactly who was I speaking with again? Are you with the police?
Ooh.
Ah, no. They're on their way. My name's Misfortune. I'm one of the guests.
She's like, what?
I'm quite sure that name has been in my files before. Something to do with a possible inheritance tax irregularity from a deceased spouse? Let me check.
Hang up! Hang up!
That won't be necessary. Besides, the wiring is a bit dodgy in this place. The phone could go out at any moment. Ta-ta then!
Yeah, let's not stay on the phone for that one. Hang up! We don't want to hear about that one. Oh boy. I'm gonna be audited next. Okay. Stop the examination. And leave this room. Let's check out the power room next. We haven't been back in there since we had... And I never went to the smoking room, actually. Let's go to the breaker room and then go to the smoking room.
Thanks to my candle here, I should be able to find the light switch. Ah, there we go. With only a little
Okay.
effort, I found my way down to the basement of the old house. Although our little adventure with the lighting had seemed natural enough at the time, given the condition of the house, the prince's murder had colored all of the evening's happenings with a more sinister shading.
Like a timed outage.
Perhaps examining the house's electrical panel for myself would shed some light on the mystery.
Okay, let's examine.
That must be the breaker panel. Let's take a closer look, shall we?
Yes. And then we can just sit here and stare at the outside of the panel, because that's helpful.
I don't know much about this sort of thing, but it looks to me that all the switches are on, except for one. Well, fun as it would be to make the little girl faint again, I probably shouldn't touch them for now.
But I want to play with the switches. Device?
Well, what have we here? It's an electrical timer.
Ah.
I once used one of these in the school breaker room to shut off the lights during my high school exams.
It's an interesting concept.
You can use it to flip a breaker switch at a predetermined time. The question is, just what is it doing here? I'm starting to think our little blackout earlier might have been no accident after all.
Most likely not. I'm just collecting all kinds of things in my purse.
The wiring is old, but it looks to me like it should all work. It's a bit of a mess, though. Hard to tell just what goes where.
That's true. And this one just looks like it's going off to nowhere. Alright. Can I look at anything else in this room? Anything? No. Okay. Alright. Now then, let's go check out the smoking room.
I returned to what the prince had called the proverbial smoke-filled room. It struck me that this would be the perfect place to call everyone and reveal the truth to this mystery. All in good time, of course.
Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here for today. I will see y'all next time. I think we're actually coming to the close. This might actually be the end of it on the next episode. I think we have gathered up a ton of evidence. Obviously, this was all staged, and something weird is going on. But I think we're still missing some vital bits to actually narrow down who specifically had a reason to kill him. The accounting information? Definitely need to know. But I'll see you in the next video. You have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, and I'll see you next time. You have a wonderful time.